boxing fans, welcome to another edition of Boxing for Real. I'm your host, Don Omega, Iron Truth here. We're playing against the clock. They're wanting to kick us out of here. Can you believe that?
Not gonna happen.
Boxing for Real, keeping it real at the library. We scrambled the books.
Yeah.
But anyhow, let's go on. Okay, first thing we want to talk about, Tito Trinidad, De La Hoya talking rematch. And Trinidad actually has said that De La Hoya hasn't talked to him personally except 3 times since the fight.
And they've never really talked about having a rematch.
And said they haven't talked about having a rematch. And I don't know if that's really true or not, because De La Hoya supposedly went to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that was a while back.
And talked to him, but that was since.
You never know.
But we never know who really. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is if they get a fight made or not.
Supposedly
he said he wanted 160.
Yeah, he said if he's willing to come to 160, he would fight De La Hoya again. De La Hoya actually did not seem to have a problem with that. He seemed to think that would give him the advantage.
For some reason?
Because he would come in with much more speed, because he said he would weigh in at about 152, 153. De La Hoya in the past has said he would not fight Trinidad above 154. I guess he doesn't care if he doesn't have to weigh in at 160, which is a good move for him.
Absolutely.
But
there wouldn't be a title on the line here, so they could do it.
Yeah, but with Trinidad being that much bigger than him, I mean, I really think it would hurt De La Hoya.
I don't. I would pick De La Hoya without a doubt.
He would have the speed.
I would even bet on De La Hoya to win that fight.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to bet on Trinidad because it is a pick'em fight, but
I don't even see it as a pick'em fight at this point, really. I think De La Hoya would dominate Trinidad.
No, I would pick Trinidad by a late round knockout, actually.
No, you're wrong.
Because he
you're wrong,
has the power.
And I'll make another $1,000 bet right here if the fight ever happens. We'll get to that another day. Anyhow, good, interesting matchup.
But that could possibly be De La Hoya's last fight instead of Floyd Mayweather. I would rather him fight Floyd Mayweather.
Absolutely,
definitely.
I would rather him fight Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. Why not do both fights?
Yeah, that would be great. But
fight Mayweather first, though.
Yeah, let him beat you first.
That should be your agenda.
Definitely.
Fight Mayweather first. He's more important to you than Trinidad at this point. Trinidad's lost a couple fights here now.
Yeah.
There's not as it's a bigger accomplishment if you think you can beat both of these guys. It's a bigger accomplishment to beat Mayweather.
Yeah, he's the best fighter in the world, undefeated. So definitely
you're
that's
not going to beat him, but
okay. Absolutely.
Have your shot.
Yeah, and you can go out losing to the best.
Absolutely. And anyhow, also looks like Hasim Rahman said he wants to return soon.
Possibly in November or December of this year. I think that's a little bit too early. It depends on who he fights. I mean, if he fights a complete bum,
the question is, can he build himself back up? Is he willing to build himself back up completely? We'll have to see. I think he can get, right now with the heavyweight picture, I think he can get right back in there probably. As pathetic as it is, I think not. He'll need a fight or two, but I don't think he has to do 6 or 7 fights.
No, I would advise him to do at least 3 or 4 though, instead of 1 to 2.
I really think if 2 fights isn't going to get him back to where he can't lose to I don't think 3 or 4 tune-ups at this point in his career is really going to matter. I think Maskayev is just someone, for whatever damn reason, that Rahman couldn't, for some reason, beat.
I don't get it. Maybe they drugged him. I don't know. The
second fight, it really looked like he just gassed in the second half of the fight, because he was winning.
Definitely winning.
And just, I don't know what happened there at Rahman. I don't know. Maybe you had a mental, who knows.
Yeah, sad story.
Anyhow, we'll see what happens with him. Also, speaking of his conqueror, Maskayev, looks like he's going to be taking a tune-up instead of Peter right away. Not very happy about that at all. He's going to be fighting this bum named Peter Okello in Japan. Okello is the OPBF, Ocean Pacific title holder.
Whoa.
So basically, he's the Asian heavyweight champion. Do you know how many... First off, he's not Asian, I don't believe.
Doesn't sound like it.
Second of all, do you know how many Asian heavyweights there are? None?
Yeah. He's the
Maybe one. He's like the champion of a 3-man division or something. This guy is a bum. this guy sucks, and this is a joke.
That's gonna be...
At least fight a top 10 guy, a top 30 guy.
I'm just glad they're not gonna make this a main event on something, on like HBO or something.
Oh, don't put it past them. Now they'll decide they'll go over and show this.
It's gonna be December 23rd, horrible fight, so... I wouldn't be shocked if Maskayev messed it up and lost, but anyway.
I wouldn't be shocked. I would actually be a little surprised if he lost to this guy, but because this guy isn't good. But this guy has lost, I believe, 10 or more fights.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't really remember, but I know he's lost a lot of fights, and considering where he generally fights, that is pathetic.
One thing that this could possibly, hopefully do, I don't know if it will, since Maskayev will not be fighting Peter next. Peter should step up and fight Tony again. I don't think he will avoid that. He seemed like he was willing to. His promoting team are absolutely ridiculous. They're the ones that I worry about letting him in the ring with Tony again.
And I really see Peter, I think Peter wouldn't be dying to have that rematch.
I don't think he's dying to, definitely.
Because he knows he lost that fight.
He has to.
And he knows he hated being in that fight because he couldn't hit Tony. Yeah. Tony moved.
Frustrating.
That is not a fight that, if I were a fighter that had just been frustrated as hell with Tony, and even did a double punch illegal maneuver, I would not want to get back in there right away with that guy, especially until I got some more movement and lost some fat and shit.
Definitely.
Anyhow, that's Peter. You should give him a rematch. Absolutely. Go ahead if you want. Go ahead, beat Maskayev whenever, then give him a rematch.
Yeah. But that should happen at some point, at least by next year.
Absolutely, it should.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of people coming back with ramen and everything, looks like Bajado, Francisco Bajado, Panchito.
Yeah.
How Panchito is he now? I don't know, but anyhow, he's coming back finally. And
over 2 years later.
He's got a long climb up.
Yeah.
He's still young, very young. He can get in there and maybe do something. Don't cast him out completely yet. We'll see what happens with him.
He's gonna take.
He won't have the backing he did, obviously. No. He hasn't had the backing he did.
This guy was our favorite Olympian to come out of 2000 by far. He was exciting everyone.
He was looking like another Vargas.
Yeah, definitely, and. He has all the tools. I don't know what he's done wrong. The fight against Juan Carlos Rubio, I did think he did pull that one out just barely. He did get the rematch with him.
It really does look like he simply didn't train properly and let the fame, the little fame,
let it go
which
to his
wasn't
head.
Great anyhow, but he let it go to his head.
But he did get the rematch, and he did knock him down and dominate him for 12 rounds. He did avenge that one. Jesse James Leija, I thought the fight could have gone either way, but that was not good for Bajado. He did knock him down in the second round. Should have finished him off, really.
Should have beaten the living hell out of Jesse James Leija, especially at that point in Leija's career.
Absolutely.
Really, any point in Leija's career for Bajado, for how talented he is. And that just shows how much out of focus, shape, whatever you want to call it, that Bajado was at that point in his career. He can regroup here. Hopefully this layoff and being out of the limelight has shown him that he needs to get his shit together and come back and do the right thing, train properly.
Definitely.
Don't bullshit around and do what you can, and hopefully then, because even then there's no guarantee that you'll do well. So.
And he's going to be coming back at 140. He was fighting at 135 for the beginning of his career, and then he did move up to 140 at one point until he took 2 years off here. He was at 140 then, but that's a good division for him to come back in. It's just going to take some time. He said possibly at the end of this month, September, he might be returning. And he said he would like to get 2 fights in before this year is up. Hopefully he can do that.
Absolutely, and hopefully they show at least one of them.
Hopefully they'll show both, of course.
Obviously.
You never know.
Never know. We'd be doing great to get one shown.
Definitely.
They're on TV as who cares? Whatever.